Rosanna Pansino has been in a lot of conversations over the last few weeks, which is not something that she's used to, as she's been pretty unproblematic, avoiding any sort of drama up until now. But she recently had called out Mr. Beast for his edit of her in his $1 million hide-and-seek challenge. She had gone on Trisha Paytas's podcast to talk about it and also put out a statement that she later deleted. She also ended up apologizing to Mr. Beast and then later retracting the statement, saying that she realized certain issues would never be handled privately, only covered up or dismissed. As time has passed from the Mr. Beast situation, she's now come out to address an entirely different situation. She's addressing questions that she's received about what kind of terms she's on with Colleen Ballinger, and she wants to let everybody know that she's no longer in communication with her. It definitely did feel a little random that she was suddenly tweeting this out, but we'll get into why I think she was bringing this up now. As I'm sure we all know by now, Colleen was called out for a number of things over the summer. Each day, new information seemed to be brought to light, exposing conversations that she had with minor fans behind the scenes, as well as how she treated those fans, how she was working on her set of her Netflix show, Haters Back Off. Then there were nasty comments made about Trisha and the fact that she sent around her OnlyFans to young fans. Truly, it was insane, the stuff that was coming out about Colleen and the things that she had done. And when she chose to post on her channel following all of this coming out, it only went more downhill, as it seemed she was making a joke out of everything that had come to light by singing about it all. She received a ton of backlash from the video, and I don't know what she was really expecting addressing something so serious in the most unserious manner possible, but her tour ended up being canceled and she hasn't posted a video on her channel since. And honestly, I don't think that she ever could, and I don't think that she should, because the space, it's not for her anymore. Clearly, her and fans, I mean, if you don't know how to communicate with them properly, then having them is questionable. But who knows? We've seen people like Shane Dawson come back. We've seen Jeffree Star come back to the internet after a long time away. So she might just feel like she could too, even though I think that's the last thing a lot of people want. But in terms of Rosanna and how she ties into all of this, is that she recently decided to put a statement out about Colleen and what had been said about Colleen and the terms that she's on with her. She recently tweeted out, addressing your questions about Colleen. And it's these two statements in which she says, "The whole situation makes me feel sad and breaks my heart. I'm still processing my feelings. I do believe that the behavior was inappropriate, mean-spirited, and I no longer communicate with her. I found out when everyone else did, perhaps even later. When the news broke, I was traveling out of state to finally pick up all the things my dad left for me after he passed away and to help my mom go through more of his belongings. It was emotionally exhausting. I was not online much at all because I was focusing on my own healing with my family. I have not said anything publicly for a few reasons. One, I do not have any new information or insight to add. I never personally witnessed that kind of behavior, wasn't aware of it, nor did I participate. My memories of our time together were with family and was very wholesome. My nephew adored her son and they love playing together. Obviously, I don't support or condone the behavior that was made public. Two, I feel that the most important thing in this situation is that the affected people's voices are heard, which I believe they now are. Three, I like to hear both sides when possible. While it's easy to jump onto the side of public opinion, I was hoping for some sort of apology or explanation at some point, which hasn't happened. I hope people come to understand that peer pressuring others to speak on issues before they are ready can be unhealthy. Please be mindful that everyone processes emotions differently and at different speeds. My timeline is not someone else's timeline. I am learning that I tend to process things slower, and that's okay." Now, in the replies to this, some people did feel like this was very random and were wondering why she was choosing to speak out now. In her statement, she was talking about peer pressure, so she clearly felt like she had to come out and say something so people knew her stance. And I think the reason why she felt this fire under her to come out and address Colleen is because of the fact that there was all this Mr. Beast stuff that was going on and she was getting some backlash for it. And so then people started to bring up other aspects of her life, like Colleen, and were wondering the status of their friendship or if there was even a friendship because they had been friendly in the past. And I think with all of this noise surrounding her name, she just wanted to finally come out and just talk about Colleen. So yes, it definitely did seem kind of random that she just suddenly decided to make this statement, but I think that she was just seeing a lot of these comments and wanted them to stop, and the only way for that was going to be if she finally just put something out there that said how she felt about everything that was coming out about Colleen. But she did receive some love from this post. Trisha replied with a heart. And I think in this situation with Colleen, Trisha might be the only one that got like a fake apology from her, because obviously the ukulele video was not anything to it. I mean, there's just no words. Like, that was not an apology video at all. There was no accountability, no really addressing anything. And so I really do think the only person that ever heard like an I'm sorry or some sort of apology of sorts was Trisha. Once she was caught sending around Trisha's photos, after she tried to make excuse after excuse and deny, and then obviously the receipts came out and she couldn't lie anymore. But that was the only time we really heard that she had given a apology of sorts, and it wasn't even proper. It was more like a sorry I got caught type of deal.
Well, it was confirmed she sent them. She sent me an apology on that Saturday after I made the video. I made the video July 3rd, and then she sent me an apology on like Saturday, July like 8th or 9th. And she's like, yeah, I was a coward. I lied to you. Like, I should have just told you the truth when you asked me about the photos. Like, I was a coward, and that was it. So she like apologized for it. So she definitely sent them to that guy.
And there's been nothing said by her since that ukulele video. Like I said, her entire family, though, has continued to post content, her brother and his wife, as well as her sister Rachel. And not too long ago, I talked about how Colleen's brother and wife in the comment section of their family channel decided to address some things regarding Colleen and their family. And it was not good, and also very strange the way they decided to address it, seemingly out of the blue. It was in a video where they went to a party that JoJo Siwa was throwing, and people were upset that they were hanging around JoJo as she's been in a lot of drama as of recent. And in defending JoJo, they ended up commenting back to someone and seemed to address accusations that had come out regarding Colleen's brother Trent, who has been featured on the family's channel and Colleen's channel before. He had been accused of inappropriate behavior, and a former fan named Oliver came out with their story interacting with Trent. And if you didn't see my video covering this when this all went down, basically they posted in the comment section of the video that they were getting a lot of heat on and said, I absolutely support anyone with incriminating info to bring it to authorities. There is personal nuances as to his level of developmental delay, which he has always kept private, but it is much more than is known publicly, and I feel awful for sharing even that. But he's not someone that I have had contact with or will have my kids have contact with since learning about his behavior several months ago. We also discussed with the kids at their varying levels of understanding and asked if they ever experienced similar with him, which they had not. So yes, I think anyone with evidence of any crimes should of course bring it to authorities and be investigated appropriately. I personally do not have that evidence, but from what has been shared, I can still use an abundance of personal caution with my kids and make choices accordingly. I am sad for Ollie, who has always been a sweet, genuine person who shouldn't have had that emotional burden at that age. And like I said, following this, the Ballinger family stayed rather quiet and didn't address this further, and business has continued as usual for them. But the whole thing was just so strange, like how they said that their kids aren't in contact with, seemingly, they're talking about Trent here, but it's just wild that they would admit, like, we are not going to have contact with him, but we were keeping that information to ourselves. So all of you fans that might have been communicating with him, sorry we didn't warn you. Like, I don't know. It's just, this whole thing is just crazy. But that was the last time that any of the Ballinger family has spoken out on any of the things that have been said about them. Like I said, ever since they posted this, it's been vlogs as normal, posting as usual, nothing further being said about this, which I don't know how they thought this was gonna go with them dropping this piece of information in the comments of their video and then nothing else being said. But all the comments under their videos, like all the vlogs, are very positive. Like, there's not a lick of negativity in them. So I think it's like heavily filtered at the moment to like just show love. So there's no like questions that people have about what they've said and about Colleen or anything like that going on there. And I guess they're just not going to say anything further about the comment that they left, just like how Colleen didn't have anything further to say after her song. But I guess we will just have to see what happens if anyone says anything further from this family in the future. But I will let you guys know if anything happens. But that is what's been going on with the Ballinger family. That is what Rosanna had to say about the questions that she was kind of getting asked about her status with Colleen. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.